Hey guys, how's it going? Swiss Rolls here. Let's just jump right into this guide on Zulrah. So these are the requirements, and the agility and fairy tale quest requirement are optional, but they're for the recommended for getting to Zulrah, and they let you take the Zolandra agility shortcut using fairy rings. So it's probably the most efficient way to get there, but we'll talk about some other ways. There's the fairy rings, as I said earlier, using the fairy ring code BJS. And then if you don't have those requirements, I would recommend using charter ships by teleporting to Camelot from the bank and then running south to Catherby and chartering a ship over to Port Tyrus. From there you can run south. And the other method is with the Zolandra teleport scrolls, and those are the quickest and least intensive method of getting there, but they're really pricey. So now on to the gear setups. This is the Mage Gear setup that you'll use against the green ranged form of Zulrah. I'll talk about the forms in a little bit here. And the gear is pretty self-explanatory. We're trying to maximize our offensive magic bonus, save for a Ring of Recoil, which will help against the minions that Zulrah spawns. The ranged gear is pretty similar. We'll use it against the blue mage form, and it's built the same way, maximizing on offensive range bonus and damage. We've also got the Ring of Recoil in there. Now on to the inventory. So the only thing I really have to say about the inventory, you can pretty much have it in any setup that you want. So I would have the Karambwans right next to the anglerfish, so you can do the one tick eat method well. And you do this by eating your, say, anglerfish and then immediately clicking the Karambwan. It works with any food in Karambwan to my knowledge, and allows you to heal nearly 2 times as quickly. So, before we get started in earnest, I want to talk about some general information regarding Zulrah. Zulrah has 3 forms that it can take, each of them using a different combat style: magic, ranged, and melee. The forms are distinguishable by their colors. In general, you always want to use your overhead prayers corresponding to the color that is attacking you. Pray range against the green form, pray mage against the blue form, and avoid the melee attacks from the red form. So just watch as I complete this first kill, try to familiarize yourself with what Zulrah looks like, and look at the prayer, gear, and attack style that I'm using against each form. We'll get into more depth regarding thorough techniques in the next kill. Now you can see the setup that I use when I learn Zulrah, and the picture on the right side of my screen is a rotation guide from the 07 wiki Zulrah Strategy page. Now the way to read this rotation guide is from top to bottom, not from left to right. So there's 4 columns, each of which represents a different set of forms that Zulrah will take. The color and position of the large dot indicates what Zulrah form is spawning and where. I doubt you can see it on this video too well, but when you pull up the 07 wiki rotation guide, you should see yellow dots along the black lines of the island. These small yellow dots indicate where your character should be standing to confront its respective form. Now, killing Zulrah hinges on being able to read this rotation map, so pause the video and familiarize yourself with it, and try to follow along on this second kill. If you're able to predict what Zulrah form is spawning next, and where it's spawning, you're well on your way to getting some dank loot. So now that we've familiarized ourselves with the rotation guide on the right hand side of the screen, I want to talk about something you might necessarily not like, but hear me out. In mathematics, there's a very important set of definitions called order of operations, or in other words, in which order actions are completed. Killing Zulrah is no different. There are 3 main actions that you must complete. The main actions are switching prayers, moving locations, and switching gear. Now this is very important. For every Zulrah form change, you must complete these actions, or at least evaluate them, to see if they need to be completed. Prayer, move, gear. Prayer, move, gear. Without bothering with eating or switching rings of recoil, just these 3 actions, prayer, moving, and gear, will obtain you about approximately a 70% kill record. So, I want to talk about eating now really quickly. It's pretty self-explanatory, but the general theory goes like this. In order to maximize the amount of attacks you can get on Zulrah, you don't want to eat while you're able to attack, because there are some periods of time where you aren't going to be able to attack while it's switching. So this means that you should eat to near full health while Zulrah is switching forms. Make sure to always employ the 1-tick eat method with your Karambon in order to save precious deciseconds. And the last thing I want to talk about is confronting the hybrid form of Zulrah. The hybrid form can be either blue or green in color, but it will always be the same color respective to its rotation. So say it's on rotation 2, it's always going to be green. If it's on rotation 3, it's always going to be blue. The hybrid form will always attack with alternating mage and ranged attacks. So it will attack range, and then mage, and then range, and then mage, repeating. And so all 4 rotations have a hybrid form, so you're going to have to be prepared to deal with it. And I'll wait until we actually get to the hybrid form before talking about that a little bit more. But in the meantime, just keep watching and think about the pray, move, and gear that I was talking about earlier. So I know that it's going to be switching to the green form on the far eastern side next. So I have my prayer already ready for that because I don't need to pray against the red melee form. I move over and eat to increase my efficiency when attacking Zulrah, and I don't have to switch my prayers or gear because they were already on the correct form. So now let's talk a little bit more about fighting the hybrid form. It's coming up here. It's going to be a blue form on the south, and then it's going to switch. The next one after this one is going to be the hybrid form. And so when you're on your first few kills ever, I would recommend not even bothering to pray switch on the hybrid form. Just tank through it with whatever food you have and be ready to resume fighting after the form switches. This is a completely viable technique, but it's going to slow you down on your kill times, and quite frankly, it feels pretty shitty to get beat up on like that. So, in order to avoid this, you can use the pray flicking method that I'll demonstrate, and in order to successfully pray for Zulrah, you have to switch your prayer to the opposite of what is being currently fired at you. As long as you have, say, Protect from Missiles on before Zulrah starts its ranged attack animation, you will successfully not take damage. So just watch as I kill this, and you might have to watch it a few more times. It wasn't the best recording because I killed it so quickly. But just go back and watch that a few times and watch how I pray flick that. But remember that you can just tank through it on your first kills. Well, guys, I hope this guide helps you on your quest to righteous glory. If you have any questions or comments, or just want a place to chill, my CC is open to all friendly Gillinorians. Gillinorians. I'm going to be making YouTube videos focusing on RuneScape in the future, probably with respect to philosophy on MMOs and video games in general. So, if you feel like listening to that, give me a subscribe. Have a good one.